Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I believe we're live. I had a friend ask me if I could look into the death of Jill Dando, the BBC reporter who hosted Crime Watch and who was murdered April 26th, 1999. Her death is considered an unsolved mystery. And what we're going to do here is solve the riddle of her murder and who is truly responsible. So, we're going to go through this piece by piece. If you're new here, we talk about the language of Gematria, the practice of coding numbers into words. For you people in the UK, I'm sure you're familiar with the band The Police. They have the song Murder by Numbers, which came out in the year 83. It's about killing people as simple as A, B, C, 1, 2, 3. The word murder has Gematria of 83. It's not arbitrary that that song came out in that year. Anyhow, these are the 4-base ciphers. The story is that the neighbor of this woman found her dead, and the neighbor's name was Doble. Doble, Dando, and Death. Notice in our 4-base ciphers, it's a perfect overlap with all 4 values. In case you're new here, this value on the far left, the dark green, that's just the alphabetic order. A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, D is 4, up to Z, the 26 letters, 26. This cipher is the alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So, for example, in the blue cipher and the green cipher, D's 4, E's 5, A's 1. When you get to T, that's where it's different. T's the 20th letter. In the green cipher, T's 20. In the blue cipher, instead of 20, you take the numerology of 20. So 2 plus 0 is 2. So T is 2 in this cipher. H is 8. And that's the difference between 38 and 20. Here T's 20, here's T's 2, a difference of 18. You have a difference of 18 in the value. This cipher right here is just the reverse alphabetic order, making Z1 counting backwards to A is 26. And this last cipher on the far right is the reverse alphabetic order with the rules of numerology. So, Death, Dando, Doble. Perfect overlap in all 4 ciphers. And what else jumps out about this is that supposedly the body of Jill was found 14 minutes later after she had been shot in the head. 14 matters because the word dead has Gematria 14. So does the word end. The number 43 is the 14th prime. Her name was Jill. Jill equals 43. So does killing. So does Masonic. We're going to talk about what Masonry has to do with this ritual as we move along. But in terms of this being an unsolved mystery in Britain, Jill Dando was 37 years old. She was killed on the 116th day of the year. And I just want you to see that Britain has Gematria of 116 and 37. A dead 37-year-old, the 116th day, an unsolved British mystery. Now, her birthday was November 19th, 1961. She turned 37 November 9th, 1998. From her birthday to her death was 168 days later. And this is considered an unsolved mystery, which has Gematria of 168. Outside of the base cipher, there's another special cipher called Jewish Gematria. It's based on the Latin alphabet, the old Latin order of the English letters. And I just want to point out that the word unsolved has Gematria of 1109, sort of like her birthday, November 9th, 11/9. At least how we write it over here in the United States. So in light of the Police, the band, writing that song Murder by Numbers, there's headlines like this all the time if you pay attention, such as this one. This is just in regards to her story. Cop claims he knows who murdered TV host Jill Dando, but won't give a name. Kind of police officer is that? The Police, murder by numbers. Oftentimes it's the police reporting that there's nothing suspicious in these very suspicious deaths. 20-some-year-old dies in their sleep. Police says nothing suspicious. Oh, really? 20-year-old dead in their sleep. Nothing suspicious, huh? You pay attention, you'll see headlines like this all the time. Ones that should make you lift an eyebrow. So what is it about the old police? I just want to make a point real quick. Police are controlled by Freemasonry worldwide. There's a movie called Filth. It's actually about British police and how they create their own crimes and then solve them and pat themselves on the back. Police and Freemasonry, it's a worldwide phenomenon. The Freemason logo, the compass, Above the capital G, it's set at 47 degrees as a tribute to the 47th prime of Euclid. Just want you to know the word cops 47, like policeman, like government, like authority, also like news. Pay attention to the news. You'll see this number floating around all the time. So here's Jill Dando, the woman who was reportedly murdered. Here's her date of birth, November 9th, 1961. Date she passed. Some things jump out about her date of death. It was a date with numerology of 148 as well as 58. I'm just going to pull up the Gematria calculator here. Uh-oh, maybe I'm not. There we go. All right, let's try this out here. I just want you to see the word fraternal. Think about fraternal order of police. Think about Freemasonry or fraternal order. Fraternal has this gematria of 58 and 148, just like the date numerology. Freemasonry has that gematria of 58. Think about how Freemasonry was established in London, England. Modern Freemasonry was London, England, 58. Don't overlook the 59 either. That's the 17th prime. Well, when this calculator is working, better it is. There it is. 59, the 17th prime. Modern Freemasonry established in London in 1717 on the date June 24th, 1717. 6 plus 24 plus 17, it was a date with 47 numerology. The 47 degrees on the Freemason compass is a tribute to the 47th problem of Euclid about how to establish foundation. Those 47 degrees. Think about the United States. Its birthday, nation founded by Masons, 4-7. So the date numerology, a lot of things pop, especially the 148 and 58. The word British is also 40. Just punch that in here so you can see it. British 40. Also a date with 129 numerology. West London, where she was murdered, has the gematria of 129. West London. Right here, 42 and 48. Check out Freemason in the same cipher. I figure out how I keep doing that. Freemason 42 and 48. Just like West London, just like fitting in with the date numerology. Now, she worked for the BBC, right? B is the second letter. B is the second letter. C is the third. 223. Masonic 223. This code of letters and numbers. Gematria. Mostly a Masonic and Jewish practice. Of course, Masonry based in Judaism, the Old Testament. In the Bible, it says the false Jews, they're the synagogue of Satan. Those are the people we call Jewish in this world because, I don't know, I don't see anyone calling black people Jews anymore. And it's weird that in the Bible, if you read the Bible, they're clearly black people, the Jews. So I don't know how we got these white Jewish people. But anyway, anyone who calls themselves Jewish that's not black, you can just chalk them up as a member of the synagogue of Satan, the same ones who control your media. 223. And I had to laugh about this Crime Watch episode, the show. It ended after 33 seasons at 322 episodes. The reflection of 223. You know, over here we got Yale Skull and Bones, the Masonic order that identifies by the number 322. If you missed my video on Ozzy Osbourne and why he recorded the song Mr. Crowley starting on March 22nd, there's a reason for this number 322. Abrahamic religions, which are Judaism, Christianity, Islam, they're 322. And they're based in the ancient mystery religions, which Aleister Crowley was real big on. 322. And check out my Ozzy Osbourne video on Mr. Crowley. There's more to that whole 322 thing, but the number shows up a lot when you're paying attention. So 322 there. Again, the ancient mystery religions include Kabbalah, where this whole practice of coding letters and numbers comes from. Don't overlook the 119 either. Kabbalah says that God created the world by merging the letter with the number. The people who control the media are playing God by this code. And those people, they refer to themselves as Orthodox. 119, don't overlook the 47. They changed the seal of Solomon to the Star of David. 119, don't overlook the 47. It's not an accident that Israel was recognized as a nation by the very Jewish United Nations in the year 47. In terms of media, you know, the thing that captures the mind's eye. Also another 119 there. September 11th wasn't any accident. Notice all seeing eyes 61 like news. This woman we're talking about, she was supposedly born in 61. But coming back to that 33 series or seasons, as we call them over here in the United States, another big number there with masonry. England got the Gematria 33, masonry 33, secrecy 33, order 33, police 33. Not a coincidence. Freemasonry gets its obsession with 33 from Kundalini. Kundalini has that Gematria 58 and 148 as well. Just a little teaching point there. But check this out. I know who she was killed for, if she was even really killed, and that's what we're moving up to. But before going on, I just want to point this out again. BBC's 223, Masonic and the Jewish cipher, our most important cipher outside of the base. Masonic 223. Masonic also 74, like Jewish, like BBC when you flip the alphabetic order around, like London, like killing, like English, like Gematria, that practice coding numbers into words. So after Jill Dando died, I wanted to see who took over Crime Watch. And it says that Ross, as in Nick Ross, he became the sole host of the show after her passing until they hired someone a year later. So it became all about Nick Ross. And notice Nick Ross was born August 7th in the year 47. From her murder to his upcoming birthday, he turned 52 that year. From her murder to his upcoming birthday was 103 days. And the thing about that is with the alphabetic order, Crime Watch is 103. He became the sole host after her passing. I noticed in the reporting on her death, it says at 1:03 p.m., Jill Dando was declared dead at Charing Cross Hospital. And the thing about 103 is it's the 27th prime number. A lot of people who've died in the 27 club have died 103 days from their birthday. Notice Rituals 27. Out of the 27 club, they've died of an overdose. Overdose 103. Several of them 103 days from their 27th birthday. Very repetitive pattern in history. And understand, Masonry is into rituals, and that's what these are. They're even murder rituals sometimes. This hospital, Charing Cross, do I see a CC, like a 3-3? And I'm sure, I haven't even done the Gematria on it, but I'm sure there's something here. Masonry controls hospitals. So right away, Charing Cross, 62 and 73. Sacrifice has that Gematria, 62 and 73. Interesting. With regards to her dying at age 37, it was Nick Ross who took over the show. Nick is 37. Ross is 37. Her name, Gematria, Jill Wendy Dando, has the 62 and 73, just like the Charing Cross, which we just covered in Sacrifice. You know, I guess I could take it out a step further and say, what's Charing Cross Hospital, 99, like the year she died in? This 99 and 117 is jumping out at me because those numbers correspond with 13. 13, big number there to the Masons, a number symbolic of time. The Bavarian Illuminati established with 13 families on a date with 99 numerology, May 1st, 1776. Another Masonic order. We talked about how her name Dando has all the Gematria of death, just like the woman who found her started there. Again, Jill 43, the 14th prime. She was found dead supposedly 14 minutes after dying. Jill Dando has this Gematria of 81. Her birth numerology was November 9th, 61, a date with 81 numerology. That's a big ritual number too. Ritual with the alphabetic order and reverse alphabetic order is 81. That's worth mentioning. She was a reporter of the year in 97 as well. Dando was. 97 is the 25th prime for the record. Notice Jill Dando has this Gematria 54. So does Nick Ross. And she was killed in Fulham, London, where her home was, which has the Gematria 54 forwards and backwards. Those are big numbers with the Jesuits. And Jesuits, they're the Masonic order within the Catholic Church. They're also known for being killers throughout history. So the Unholy Alliance is the Masonic network across the world. It is what is the New World Order. Also noteworthy, Crime Watch has the Gematria 59, like London, England, like Freemasonry, like Kill and Jewish Gematria. Again, 59 is the 17th prime. Kill also has the Gematria of 17 in our most pure cipher. I laughed here that the Mirror misreported her death as 38. I actually see news media do this a lot when people aren't really 38 when they die. And the reason they do that is because death is 38, murder is 38, killing is 38, RIP is 38. Pay attention. You'll see how often they misreport somebody dead at 38 when they know full well they're not. It's just all numerical ritual. They just have to put it out there. It's an obsession for these people. The woman who found her dead is Helen Doble. You see this gematria of 188 right here? I was just talking about the Bavarian Illuminati in light of the hospital numbers in 13. Bavarian Illuminati has this gematria of 188. And here in the United States, we got the Illuminati symbolism all over our dollars. Our denominations are the 1, the 2, the 5, the 10, the 20, the 50, the 100. You add up those denominations, it's 188. And just for a reminder, we had the recent death of Kofi Annan at age 80. He died on August 18th, 18/8, like 188. Just as a reminder, Kofi Ada Annan, his full name 80, dead at 80. He won the Nobel Peace Prize, 80. He received the Nobel Peace Prize on October 12th, the day leaving 80 days left in the year. And then he died August 18th, at age 80. 18/8. When you write out 80, it sums to 74. We just talked about these numbers. 38. The patterns are very redundant when you learn this code. They sure are. There's a song out there called Gematria, the killing name. With the alphabetic order and rules of numerology, we got overlap in those two ciphers. Two most straightforward ciphers. Manly P. Hall once shared them in his book, The Secret Teachings of All Ages. But like I called this thing, the unsolved mystery of Jill Dando's murder solved. I can't tell you who the exact killer is, but I can tell you what network's responsible for it, who was the beneficiary. And I'll also suggest that it's possible that this woman didn't even really die, that she just retired. It's a big world. There's a lot of places you can go. Sure, she had plenty of money working for the BBC. Sure, if it was a fake death just to sell more news headlines, because I'm sure this story in its time generated a lot of money and revenue and magazines and paper sales and commercial advertising. It's just very clear to see who's responsible for the ritual. The BBC's obviously in on it with Crime Watch and their employee Nick Ross. The police are obviously in on it. It's the Masonic cartel that controls this land. We need to find Sting somewhere. Sting probably knows. Sometimes I wonder what that guy knows. He's so proud of his song Murder by Numbers. You ever heard Sting talk about that song? Look it up. Look up some live performances of him singing that song. He always wants to let everybody know that he wrote the lyrics. It's like, man, why are you so proud of this song, Sting? Murder by Numbers, huh? Let me see if anybody's even watching this thing. I did this one for my buddy. My buddy who helped me move into my house. He said, "Hey man," he normally when he asks me to do something, he asks me to look into sports. He doesn't really ask me to look into news stories very often. So I thought, maybe he's getting into this whole gematria thing. I'll do a video for him on Jill Dando. Look at you loyal people. Well, we got 160 people watching and 30 likes, so this must be a pretty disappointing video. But I see the trolls are here. That's too bad. Trisha G, you can always go to sleep. Don't let me keep you up. You can always watch this video later, as long as they don't take down the channel. But you know how we're doing it these days. We're keeping it real kosher. I will check out the Gematria Effect News email, absolutely. So, hey, in light of who runs the media, again, I got to tell you guys, I'm really enjoying the videos that a certain channel's putting out, but I'm just real suspicious of the people they're having on as guests. Trying to figure out if this channel's legitimate. But hold on, I got to find this post that I got inspired to do by a video they did recently. He had on Jonathan Greenblatt, the head of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, which is a Jewish organization, and he was talking about how questioning the Holocaust is a form of hate speech. He says anybody who questions the Holocaust is anti-Semitic and speaking hate. And I thought, wow, really, questioning is hate speech. That is some Orwellian thinking right there. And I just thought, in light of the fact of how much these people like letters and numbers, we should look at the abbreviation ADL and the name Anti-Defamation League and see where these things came from. So notice ADL 64, like Israel, like Zion, like Synagogue of Satan. Not coincidental. Anti-Defamation League also has the Gematria of 84, like Zionism, like Masonry. And, they're real big in our nation over here, United States of America, 84. Don't ever forget the Orwell book, 1984. Of course, he was a member of the Fabian Society, established in 1884. Jesuit also has that Gematria of 84. I could have thrown that up here, but we're focusing on the Zionism here. If you search Jonathan Greenblatt, Holocaust denial, if you search that, the video will pop right up. And in that speech, he starts going off on Mark Zuckerberg. He says, he thinks Mark Zuckerberg's in the wrong for allowing posts that question the Holocaust. He said that Facebook should ban all of them. There should be zero tolerance for questioning the Holocaust because it's nothing but hate speech, period. And anyway, I just, we talked about this before with old Mark Zuckerberg. His name equals 84. He was born in 84 on May 14th, which is the same day in history that Israel was officially established in 48, the reflection of 84. Don't forget, the Synagogue of Satan equals 223. 223 is the 48th prime. And of course, it also has this overlap with Israel. Israel, Zion, Synagogue of Satan, ADL, none of which are coincidental. These people know who they are. They know who they are. They just think they can get away with it. For the record, Facebook and Zionist also has the Gematria 41. If you're not aware, I think I put it up here. I used to have a longer video on this, and you can look this up too. Mark Zuckerberg, about a decade ago, maybe even longer than 10 years ago now, he got asked to take off his hoodie. If you remember the early days of Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg always wore a hoodie in public. And he was doing an interview, and the woman had him take off his hoodie. And as he was taking it off, she saw the inside, and she said, "Whoa, what's on the inside of your hoodie?" And it was this. It was this same thing right here, this logo on the inside of his hoodie. And as you can see, there's clearly a Star of David, a Seal of Solomon, right here in the middle. So yeah, this must have been in 2010 when this happened. 8 years ago now. And she said, "Wow, what is that? That's like some Illuminati symbolism." She didn't call out that it's the Jewish star from Israel's flag, but it very clearly is. And there's a lot that's encoded in that, making the world open and connected. What it says here, Gematria 147, like Freemason, like conspiracy. The reason I got old Alex Jones's name up here is because and understand, Alex Jones is a major Zionist puppet. He refuses to speak against Israel. He defends Israel in every breath. He says it's absurd to accuse Israel of anything. It's not hard to see whose pocketbook he's in. But he got banned. He got 86th this year from Facebook on 8/6, which is the day leaving 147 days left in the year. It's also the 218th day of the year. Conspiracy theory 218. Conspiracy 147. So good day to 86th, the conspiracy theorist. But understand it was all done by the numbers. Alex Jones, he's just a symbol. And there's major censorship going on, and that's what the symbolism is about. But when he got banned this year, it was also 84 days after Mark Zuckerberg's birthday. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice how they did that? And Alex Jones knows what the gig is. He got more attention in the moment. I think Alex Jones has fallen off for a lot of people. His gig's up. So anyway, in case you don't know, Alex Jones born on the 42nd day of the year. In the year 74, Alex Jones 42, Infowars 42, Austin 42, Freemason 42, G 42. Somehow I forgot to put Zionism up there in that list, but it is 42, just like how the Holocaust supposedly began in 42. Holocaust has the gematria of 33. Actually, look at this. Look at Holocaust and look at synagogue. You see the overlap? 114, that's just like World War. 129. The thing, though, about Holocaust is this. If you take into account the S exception and reduction, that's where S is worth plus 9 more. Holocaust is 42, like how it began in 42, World War 42, the word war alone, 42. It's that book, 1984. Who controls the past controls the present. Who controls the present controls the past. And, 42 is a big number in our history books, too. Anyway, got a little off topic there with Jill Dando, but all comes back to the same thing. The same people who are responsible for her murder or faked death by the numbers are the same people like this guy. Couldn't help but notice that Jonathan Greenblatt's 187 either, like the 187 books or chapters, the chapters in the 5 books of the Torah. Greenblatt's got that gematria of 41 like Zionism, 104 and 58 like Jerusalem. Let's see. So anyway, know who your enemy is. Know who the liars are. Know who the fearmongers are. Know who the people who do things by the numbers are. Look at this person's comment right here. I respect Zach and his vids, but usually the real stuff that's factual gets blocked and banned. Dude, I'm on my 20th channel, man. Where you been? You know how many times I've been deleted since June of 2017? Do you know how censored I am? This is a channel that's pretty much blocked and banned. There's a reason more than a month ago, all my videos were getting 10,000 plus views, and now the average video is getting around 2,000-3,000 views. That's called censorship. There's a reason they've been dumping subs. You gotta love when dumb people speak. You get the Idiot of the Night award. Ezra here is calling them out. Yeah, they banned me more than 10 times. We're damn near 20 times. I think this is channel number 17 here. Somebody's talking about November 18th. That's the 322nd day of the year. Have I looked into the purging of 800 accounts such as police? Police and Free Thought Project. I don't know about that. I don't know what 800 accounts. What do I think of Trump? Well, take a look around my channel. You'll find out what I think about Trump, Agent 119, in Jerusalem on Jerusalem Day, who had all of his children marry into Jewish families. All right, trying to see if we got any questions here. Thanks for the support. Hey, Zach, where are the original white men that did the big giants? Oh, I know what you're talking about. I think I do. That did the big giants or little. Well, I think I know what you're talking about. Hold on. Are you talking about Piltdown Man? Are you talking about Piltdown Man? Is that what you're referring to? You tell me if you're talking about Piltdown Man. If that's what you're talking about, we can talk about Piltdown Man since we're focused on the UK. But maybe that's not what you're talking about. But that's what your words reminded me of. Charlotte bought the book. She says she can download it or you can't. If you're having trouble downloading it, please email me. I'll send you one right away. Gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com. Anybody having trouble, I take care of. Had a pretty lousy day of book sales. People must be out enjoying the weekend. That's all right. Oh, okay. You're talking about something else. Giant fallen angels, code for white men from Russia. I don't know, man. I don't know about that one. I thought we were going. I thought maybe you were talking about Piltdown Man. I don't know how you guys can tell how many people just entered the chat. There must be something about chats that I don't know about. But what relationship does Gematria have within our legal system? Like in terms of how things have been named? We often talk about, if you missed all my work on the Supreme Court nominations over the years by the numbers, you should check that out. But Judge and Gavel, they got the perfect Gematria overlap. Neil McGill Gorsuch and Brett Kavanaugh, both of their processes to become the latest Supreme Court justices, having to do a lot with these numbers here. I got some long playlists on that. So I think it's real interesting that the word jury is 74. Notice how jury interacts. It's got overlap in 2 of the 4 ciphers. And then in this third one, it's the reflection of 47. Judge, jury. So a lot of big trials on TV by the numbers. O.J. Simpson trial is a real good example. The 800 accounts were purged for having offensive material. I'll have to look into that story. I hadn't heard about it. Chris has a good observation on the Red Sox going for their 9th World Series. Who won tonight? Did the Astros or Red Sox win? Astros did. I like the Astros to win the World Series. If you're not on my Patreon, I put out a video why I really like the Astros to win it. So I'm not surprised they won tonight there, the Astros. Think they're going to go back to back. Hey, I want to recommend a channel. I think he's legitimate. He doesn't even have 1,000 subscribers yet. If there's a channel you want to sub to, who's speaking truth and pretty entertaining person, uh, well, I guess I'm going to recommend his channel. I should know what it's called again because I just found it. Hold on. I was about to recommend. Like, wait a minute. Okay, this is his channel. I think he's been deleted a lot too. Handsome Truth 10. That guy needs more subs. He's doing great work over there. Handsome Truth 10. So just want to. I've never associated with this guy. I've never talked to him, but his channel just came across my radar, and I thought this guy deserves more subs. Why does he only have 1,000 subs here? Thank you to all the people buying the book. Appreciate it. Dwayne Johnson needs a different way to buy my book. Dwayne, if you don't want to buy it through Etsy, another way to do it is send me an email at Gematria Effect News. And down in the description of all my videos, all you need to do is donate $5 through the PayPal. Then send me an email and say, hey, I donated $5. Please send me the book, and I'll send it to you right away. So $5 donation at the link in the description. Email to gematriaeffectnews@gmail.com. I'll get you a book. Did you ever cover the Vegas shooting? Not only did I cover the Vegas shooting, but I predicted it months before it happened. I said why it'd be the biggest false flag since 9/11 in the United States, and it was. And it's because I've had so many channels deleted. I mean, I had probably at least 5 channels alone deleted for covering the Vegas shooting. So if you want to read my work on Vegas, I recommend you get my book. That's the one thing they can't censor from you. Do I have a video of 9/11? Yeah, I got videos on 9/11. A lot of them have been deleted too. Um, a good way to find my work, because there's people who re-upload my content, just search my name, Zachary K. Hubbard, and whatever topic you're looking for. And here, let's just see what happens with a little search. I always use the name Zachary K. Hubbard before this because I thought maybe if I changed my channel name, I'd be less likely to be deleted. And so far, that strategy's working. Huh, this video's still up here. This is the video that the FBI came to my door over. Well, that's interesting that's still up. I did, well, I'm trying to see if some of my, they're not jumping out at me right now. Maybe most of my 9/11 stuff's been deleted. So my 9/11 videos aren't popping out at me. Maybe they are all been scrubbed, but my book is full of 9/11 information. Pick up that book. You can again, it's $5 and it's 773 pages. And as soon as it sells out, let me see how many copies are left. It's sold slow today, so there's probably still plenty of copies left here. But when it sells out, I'm probably going to raise the price to at least $9, so you can still get it for $5. Let's see here. There are how many copies left at $5? There are 86 copies left at $5. That's the number right now. Oh, we did one of those Gematria chat skips. I don't know where we were in the chat. It skipped down. Oh, here we go. God, we were way up here. You guys are filling up the chat again. Look up Eric Klopper's Sex and Circumcision. Okay. Okay, I'll remember that. Piltdown Man. You guys got to know about Piltdown Man. It's the greatest fraud in science history. Piltdown Man. Look, the Piltdown Man scientific fraud lasted for 41 years. And notice Piltdown's 41 as well as 113, the number of deception. Piltdown Man was supposedly discovered in the UK and for 41 years was used as proof of evolution and proof that white people were the superior race intellectually. It was used as proof that white people had the biggest brains. And after 41 years, it was admitted to be a contrived fraud, a made up proof for evolution. Hey, by the way, evolution has that really special Gematria 47. We know who likes that game. So, Piltdown Man, you got to look it up. Things to know. If you emailed me yesterday, I haven't checked my email since yesterday, so you probably emailed me after I looked last. Another person asking about Vegas. You guys get my book. All my best research is in the book. The book's been stuck on 74 reviews. Who wants to do the 75th review? New World Trade Center building opening 2022. Where at? Richard Quinn on Facebook. You guys got a friend request. Richard Quinn. He's doing the daily dose of Gematria, trying to get people talking about it. Well, it's BS that they deleted my channel 20 times. I'd be well over 100K subs if they hadn't deleted me so many times, and then the videos would really be getting out. Whole lot more people know about Gematria. Do I count when I do things? Like, what do you mean? Do I count how many steps from my bed to when I walk out to the kitchen and then out to my car? No. Is Zach a Jew? Well, last time I checked, I wasn't. If you really want to know, close your ears if you don't, but I'm uncut. So, I mean, I don't know what kind of Jew I'd be as an uncut dude. That usually doesn't qualify. That's not keeping it kosher, right? That's keeping it natural. Let's see. People are surprised that YouTube has deleted videos. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but YouTube's been deleting channels left and right. Again, this is like my nearly 20th channel since June of 2017. How's Marty Leeds? He stopped harassing me. I haven't heard from him since the night of my radio show, I don't believe. The last message he said was that he actually loves me. And I was like, what's that mean if now he loves me? Probably means something like maybe a Thelema type of love. I don't trust that dude. What do I think tomorrow would be like if 10% of the people woke up to this overnight? Well, if that many people woke up in the world to this overnight, we would be able to have more than enough people to take the world back by tomorrow. So, have you looked into the connection between JFK Jr. and the Eyes Wide Shut? Both events took place on the same day. All right, let me just see. JFK Jr., Eyes Wide Shut. This is a new one to me. JFK Jr. died that same day, huh? JFK Jr.'s death's in my book, but I didn't notice the eyes wide shut overlap. So that is interesting. This is a date with 141 numerology. The day he died, just to tell you a little bit. If you write out 33, it has Gematria of 141. And Kennedy has that Gematria of 33. Fateful number for that family. There's a whole bunch more there to that. But I did not know about the eyes wide shut piece, so I'll look more into that. No, I wouldn't have my child circumcised. I don't think that that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean, if it was supposed to be that way, I think we'd be born that way. So, do I want anyone silenced in the chat? It looks okay right now. I'm not. Nobody's trolling standing out to me. Charing cross. Got it. Sounds like chair. Well, you know me. I'm the master of mispronunciation. You're welcome. Happy to answer your questions. Let's see here. You know what? I think Ezra can be a moderator. He's very loyal. Don't get carried away, Ezra. I think okay, so Christos, I imagine this person you're asking about, if he teaches Gematria, you're probably asking about the channel I recommended. I didn't see him talking about Gematria, but I did see him starting to break down some letters into numbers. I have a feeling he's familiar with my work or somebody else out there who's teaching Gematria because I saw him break some letters down into numbers. He wasn't, it wasn't his main thing, but he was just making a lot of. You'll see if you check out his channel. He's a pretty humorous guy, good presenter, and he's speaking truth to power. So check him out. Handsome Truth 10. Yeah, this no more news guy, even if he is a shill, let's just say he was a shill. I think it's really interesting some of the people he's getting. I don't know how he's getting to interview all these people. I've reached out to some of these people. They never get back to me. I'm like, well, this guy just came out of nowhere. He's hardly been around here. Why does everyone want to be with him? But I don't care about all that. Even if he is a shill, his content, what he's doing is it's productive. He's putting together really good videos exposing Zionism, and there's not enough people doing that. So um, and I don't know that he's a shill. I mean, in a way kind of reminds me of myself. He's like in some modest room, and I don't know. He has a lot to learn, though. His last name being Green is kind of a fitting last name because he's pretty green on some subjects. But even still, he's good at putting the videos together. And I wish he knew Gematria. I do find it weird that he brought on the ML guy instead of bringing me on when people were requesting for him to bring me on. That was kind of weird, but even still, I'm not mad about it. I like his video content that he's putting out. So, well, I did actually reach out to Handsome Truth just for the first time today. So we'll see if he gets back to me. We'll see if he gets back. And you guys, you don't have to sub anybody that I recommend, but I'm just saying. I mean, if you like people speaking out against Zionism, he's another voice out there that's doing it. So at the rate he's going, he's going to be on Handsome Truth 11 real soon. I can tell you that much. So I think I mentioned that letters and numbers are symbols in my book. I'm pretty sure that's in there near the beginning. For the record, Jeff Young didn't say he was at the Vegas shooting, but he was living in that city at the time, and he said he had evidence that people really were killed. That's what Jeff Young said. So, yeah, support Richard Quinn's Facebook page. He's trying to get people talking about Gematria. Christo says, "Have I started thinking about writing my second book? I have, but it's just that thing. It's like it's so hard to keep up with everything right now. I mean, there's just not enough hours in a day, so I'm gonna have to step away from doing video decodes for a while to get the second book out. But I'll tell you what, the second book's not going to be nearly as long as the first book. To me, the first book's going to be like the reference source material, and I think each book I write after will be like essentially to keep you up on what happened in the year 2018, what happened in the year 2019. So and probably keep those books somewhere like around 150 pages or something. Just try to be real concise and to the point with some really good examples. But yeah, I definitely want to write some more books, especially if people are going to support them. Let's see. The channel skipped on me again, so I lost where I was in the chat. Illuminati Truth says, "How do you feel about being wrong about Conor McGregor?" Well, you know, I would have rather have been right, but I don't feel too bad about it. At least I was able to clearly show the whole ritual and how the whole fight was scripted around the numbers 229 and 50 long before it happened. Again, for people who don't know, UFC 229 tickets went on sale on the 229th day of the year. That was exactly 50 days before the fight. 229 is the 50th prime. Undefeated equals 50. McGregor equals 50. Khabib remained undefeated against McGregor. I didn't think McGregor was going to take it. I thought it was all about that 223 thing, especially after the whole UFC 223 incident. So I don't know if that, in hindsight, that was like the signal that he wasn't going to become 22-3 or what. But I think I need to do more research on the number 214 because his record's 21-4, and I know that number has some meaning, but it's meaning that evades me. Cash Brown says, if you look up the human body's pH serum, you'll see it is at 7.4. Huh. I got to remember that. I got to remember that. I did not know that. I haven't heard from the student at UCLA yet. Somebody from my radio show at UCLA said they were going to try and see if they could get me a speaking arrangement there. And I said if they could, I would travel down there and speak to whatever students came to listen. So I lost where we were in the thing. It skipped and I can't find it. Mm. Thanks for the compliment, Nikki. Glad you enjoy the book. Cash Brown says he's seen the license plate, RFK 575 in a number of movies now. I believe it. I believe it. I'll probably end up seeing it shortly enough watching a movie now that you brought it up. The 575 part, what it makes me think of is Scottish Rites 57, so is Jews, the most Jewish branch of Freemasonry, and New World Order 75. And don't ever forget October 6th, 1940, the date was 75 numerology. The New York Times had the headline New World Order pledged to Jews. So, New World Order 75, Order out of Chaos 75. I don't know if they're mad at me at the lodge. I just don't know. Look up gang stalking. I know all about it. Somebody says, have you ever canceled your plans or chose not to do something based on the Gematria numbers of a certain day? I haven't. I have not. I don't let this research make me paranoid or let the numbers make me paranoid. I just observe. Sometimes things are really interesting. I can't tell you how often, like, I'm doing a blog post or there's like a certain number of the day that just keeps coming up in my research. And then I go out into, I take my girlfriend to our favorite restaurant and they give us an order number and the order number is the same number I've been writing about all day. I'm just like, why does this always happen? It's so weird. Or I go to the grocery store and I buy a bunch of groceries and I have no idea what it's going to add up to, and then it adds up to the same number I've been looking at all day, and I'll just always think it just happened so many times since I started doing this research. It always blows my mind. And I remember shortly after I first began this research too. I went out and I made this big purchase. When I started to do this research, maybe I was like the most paranoid I'd ever been at any time. I was just thinking like, I don't have any. There's nothing in my house like if there was a great fallout to be prepared. Like I don't have the disaster supplies if you know shit hit the fan. So I went out and bought all this survival stuff and just like helpful things like if you lost energy and to purify water and um when I bought everything and the total rang up, including the tax, it came out to $666 and some change. And then that put like a big grin on my face. I was like, really? This stuff added up to that much? And it didn't seem like it was going to cost that much either. And normally I'm good at keeping a track of things. So I was surprised on one hand how high the amount was, and then also that it came out to that number of all things. But I've never, just seeing the numbers, it's never made me go, oh, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, I always keep track of just the organic occurrences that often weird me out. Sherry says for the first time she feels good about not having her son circumcised. That's funny. That's funny. I want to be reverse circumcised. I don't know if that procedure exists. Ah. Yeah, that handsome truth guy, he is kind of nutty, but I think he's pretty humorous. He was entertaining me. I had him going on in the background while I was doing the decode on what I just presented with the death of this Jill Dando. So maybe I don't know if circumcision really makes you lose your manhood. I don't know because I can't speak from experience. But what's up, JP? Thanks for getting the book, John. J45 keeps emphasizing the Talmud says Jews have to circumcise their slaves. Yeah, it says a lot of things in there. Not a very nice text. Somebody's probably heard me talk about this before. I think I talked about it on my radio show back when I was driving, and the only thing I was really doing each week was my radio show. Um, I picked up, if you've ever driven for Uber or Lyft, you end up picking up, or if you've ever ridden for Uber or Lyft, you know how it can be. Sometimes you do a ride where you pick up multiple strangers. Um, what do they call it? A Lyft line or a Uber share or something like that. But it was nighttime. It was a weekday, and I picked up this young guy. He was a college student. Forget what he didn't go to UW. He went to another university. I forget. But I was driving him home, and then on the way, we got a ride pickup at University of Washington. So we had to go to University of Washington, and he was still in the car. And while he was in the car, he was just telling me about what he was studying, and he wanted to be a urban planner or something like that. And he seemed like an all right guy. And then when we get to UW, the person who needs to get in the car is an older woman. She's probably in her early 50s, I'd estimate. And when we got in the car, when she got in the car, she was all annoyed. She was all irritated, and she wanted to vent about what had just happened to her. And she said, "I can't believe what just happened to me." And I was like, "Oh, what? What happened to you?" Normally, I'm like people's therapist driving around. But she goes, "Oh God, just these two anti-Semitic men. They were talking about the Holocaust and questioning if it had really happened." I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this woman's getting in my car and talking about this of all the cars she could have walked into, all the Uber and Lyft drivers in this city." So I was listening to her vent for a second, and I said to her, "Have you ever questioned the Holocaust yourself?" And she said, "Of course not." And I said, "Well, are you aware that the Nuremberg trials, a lot of the information and accusations have been retracted?" And she acted like she didn't know what I was talking about. And then the guy who was next to me, who'd been in the car for a while, he looked at me and goes, "Are you a Holocaust denier?" That term is so programmed in society. And well, I'm more of like question authority and think for myself and find facts and find out what's real in this world and what's misrepresented. I said, if you research the Holocaust, there's a lot of things that don't add up. And oh, this guy just got so angry. He's like, "Are you kidding me right now?" And I was like, "No, I'm not kidding you." And he's like, "Dude, did you just hear what this woman said? Now you're adding on to it." I said, "Well, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm just saying, like, maybe she shouldn't be so upset." I said, and then I looked back at her. I said, "Am I upsetting you even more right now?" And she goes, "Well," she goes, "Carry on. I'm listening." So anyway, I end up dropping off this guy, and when he got out of the car, he was so annoyed. He even closed my door pretty hard. But so then it was just me and her in the car, and we talked about this for a long time. And I asked her if she was familiar with things that are written in the Talmud, and she said, "Oh yeah." And I said, "Don't you think some of the things in there are pretty terrible?" She's like, "I don't know about any terrible things." She's like, "We used to study it in synagogue growing up." And I said, "Well, not everything in there is terrible, but I said, when you get home, you should look up some of the not so nice things about the Talmud." And I said, "You should also investigate the Holocaust and if there really is any evidence of gassing chambers." And I said, "The other thing you should wonder is why there's so many people in the world who say that, these supposed witnesses of the Holocaust that say that like their entire family was killed, but they weren't. Because I mean, how does that even make sense?" And there's multiple examples of that. All these supposed witnesses to the slaughter who didn't get killed themselves. So anyway, her and I were able to have actually a decent conversation, and she did say she would research and investigate. But I don't know. I just started talking about that because this person keeps writing about the Talmud, and it just reminded me that I think a lot of Jewish people aren't even aware of the very terrible things that are written in that book. They just know the things that they learned in their Saturday school lessons, their Sabbath day lessons. So yeah, that was one of the more memorable experiences I had. The guy was totally cool until he found out I was a Holocaust denier. Then I was just this horrible human being. He couldn't believe it. There's no real way to get money fast out there. The guy asking that question. Michael Myers, yeah, new Halloween movie. The best way to get financially ahead is to be responsible with your expenses and save. That's my best advice to you. I had to work hard for a lot of my life to get ahead. Let's see. Deontay says he needs the book. To get the book, the link's in the description of the video. It's the top link where it says buy letters and numbers book here. That's the one. You want to, every circumcision has become the topic of this thread. People are going to watch this video and be like, I thought this was about circumcision. How about that? 64. It's like Israel and Zion. Huh. It's also got that 188 and 80 like Bavarian Illuminati. That's weird. I have never looked up the Gematria of circumcision. That is weird. Circumcised. What's that got? 53 like religion. It is a religious thing. Hmm. Wait, I spelled it wrong that time. Circumcised. Huh. 190. That's a synagogue of Satan number there. Well, that makes sense to me. I don't know if it makes sense to you, but to me, I would say the numbers behind circumcision add up. My oh my, you learn something new every day. Have I checked out Tenon's work on the Hebrew language? I haven't. It's going to be another thing I need to check out. Yeah, Cash Brown, they recently changed the Wikipedia. If you search how tall the Pentagon is, that was months ago. They changed it from 77 feet to 71 feet. They did that just before the 77-year anniversary of the Pentagon. And if you go into the Wikipedia and read the article, I document it somewhere on my blog, but even the article is funny. It's like, well, we always thought it was 77 feet until recently it was announced that it's just 71 feet. That's just that's some 1984 down the memory hole stuff. And that's probably largely due to how many people have now exposed the whole thing with the 77 ritual and the Pentagon. Yeah, Holocaust does mean burnt offering. That is right. And if I remember right, burnt offering has some nice gematria to it. See that 74? You know that number, right? Jewish, killing, Masonic, burnt offering, Holocaust. Austin says he wants to be he wanted to be a sports journalist, but now that he's figured out they're rigged and scripted, he's not so sure he wants to do anymore. You know, Austin, I actually always wanted to be a journalist, but my mother was really against that idea. And even though I wasn't really a mama's boy, I would often do things to appease my mother just so I didn't have to hear her nagging in my ear every day. She really wanted me to be an accountant. So lo and behold, I have an accounting degree. And you know what I realized one day is like I don't even need an education to be a journalist. I can I can do investigative reporting. I can write. I don't need to have the. I mean, the thing is, like, people will read your content if you write well enough and you have a message that resonates with people. And I don't know if you would exactly call my work journalism. In a way, it sort of is. I'm sort of like an investigative journalist, but in a niche for sure. So, if you wanted to be a sports journalist, maybe now you're still into sports, but maybe now you want to expose how they're scripted. Maybe you want to raise more awareness about the scripting of sports. So, and there's a lot of ways you can do that at this day and age. You know, blogs, social media, YouTube. So, you know, do what inspires you. And maybe you're still a sports journalist, but just with a different angle than you ever expected. Yeah, some guy says, "Why do these names keep popping up?" It's probably just Gematrix. Their database is really interesting. We should all get on. Christo says we should go to the Pentagon and measure ourselves. That would be awesome. Dana White, I don't believe is Jewish, but the UFC is owned by Jewish men. Rahm Emanuel's brother, the proud Zionist, is the primary owner of the UFC now. UFC's always done everything by the numbers, just like the rest of the sports world. I think Dana White's just kind of their front guy. Nikki says YouTube keeps blocking her from this stream. Well, the censorship is real. Alan Franklin says any connection between Conor McGregor's coach John Kavanaugh and Supreme Court Brett Kavanaugh since the fight and nomination was going on at the same time. I'll show you this right here. Supreme Court Justice has this gematria of 261. And to be perfectly honest, I thought that was another sign that Khabib was going to become 26-1. I thought that was just like one of the last clues for McGregor, but obviously that was not correct. So, um, I'm sure there was a riddle with it, but it seems like in light of Kavanaugh getting the nomination and stuff and getting confirmed, it would have been more favorable for McGregor. There's no coincidences in terms of what's going on through the media. Politics and sports linked together all the time. Federal government, big sports events. You're asking me to type in presidential alert? Okay, let's see. Presidential alert. Huh, that is very interesting. I see why you wanted me to type that in. Very interesting. That overlap with the Bavarian Illuminati there. I see it. First two. Very interesting. What's the tallest ladder you can buy? How could we scale the Pentagon and measure it? I know that they make tape measures that are 100 feet, so we have the tape measure part qualified. How do we get up on top of the Pentagon? It's probably a good way to get shot. Um, I'm expecting a pretty bad day for the market this Monday, so we'll see if we get a repeat of Black Monday from 31 years ago. Again, 31's the 11th prime. Black has the gematria of 11, so measure it with a drone. I'm sure there is a way to do that. Yeah, there's probably a way to do that. Probably some software or something. God, they probably even make like an app for your phone now that can just measure things. Maybe you can just walk up with a phone to the Pentagon and get how tall it is. The skeptical conspiracy theorist Zach Greenblatt is a con man, Freemason, liar, thief who scammed his own goy followers with his 30,000 offer truth site. Well, I'll tell you what, that is my biggest regret. The goal was to raise 33,000. We didn't raise anywhere near that amount. And again, the reason we were going to raise 33,000 was because we were going to put their number back on them and build the Truth Seeker Network Alliance. And I thought we were doing it until the whole project got sabotaged. So obviously the mission never stopped. I mean, I still want to get that project done, but I didn't trust the right people to help me out. That was the big mistake. Have you seen the Netflix movie about July 22nd active shooter? Isn't July 22nd the day of the Oslo bombing? Is that what it's about? Well, there was a shooting on July 22nd? I don't remember a July 22nd shooting. I remember the bombing. Oslo, Norway bombing, July 22nd, I believe. Norway. Was there a shooting too? I guess there was a shooting. Okay, I forgot that there was a shooting as part of this. That must be what it's about. I didn't know that they made a movie about it, but I done plenty of videos on that incident. Done plenty of videos on that incident. October Surprise has the 77 Gematria, like Judaism, Zionist, and theater. It's okay to go outside of the four base ciphers. I mean, the other ciphers, they are relevant, but I just so many people just start using every cipher, and then it's just too much, and it makes the potential for coincidence or mistaken pairing so much higher. If you just stick to the base ciphers, you can usually prove your point way beyond what's necessary. But yeah, there's absolutely relevance in the other ciphers too. So this person says, what exactly was the 77 ritual other than Flight 77? Well, when I speak of September 11th, I'm speaking about Flight 77. And just in case you're not aware, if you write out September 11th in our most pure cipher, it's equal 77. World Trade Center is 77 in that same cipher. Again, Flight 77 hit the 77-foot tall Pentagon on the 77th meridian, 77 minutes after taking off. And don't forget about the dancing Israelis on that day. Judaism 77, Zionist 77, theater 77, word power 77, the word United States 77. So who has the power in the United States? It's not a coincidence. Every president goes before AIPAC, first thing they do. Yeah. The one guy points out that the Freemason motto that is in connection to the compass, which is set at 47 degrees, with the alphabetic order, that phrase sums to 666. And don't forget that with the alphabetic order, the word beast sums to 47. The compass is set at 47 degrees. The motto sums to 666. And it's just like how Washington, D.C. has the Washington Monument that's 555 feet above ground and 111 feet below ground. So it's 666 feet tall. and how everything in DC is 47. And the Washington Monument, it's also like a giant sundial, and the word time is also Gematria 47. I think that number of the beast has a lot to do with time. Eric says you can use mathematics to figure out the height of the Pentagon. He's right. He's right. We just need a we need a we need a couple true measurements on the ground to make it happen. That's the trick. I think George Herbert Walker Bush is going to go on November 8th. That number 11 118 is just too important to him. So I won't be surprised if he bites the dust November 8th. Again, his granddaughter Barbara Bush, the same name as his wife, just got married on his 118th day of his age on October 7th. If you missed my video on that wedding, you got to check it out. She was perfectly synced up with George W. Bush, George H.W. Bush, and the death of Barbara Bush. But anyway, from that day to November 8th is 33 days. And Bonesman equals 33. Wedding equals 33. Mary 33. October 33. You know the rest of the 33s. So I won't be surprised if he bites it November 8th. Here, let's just look at Jimmy Carter too. Jimmy Carter's got to go soon as well. I agree. So he just turned 94. He just turned 94. He could last a bit longer. Him being from Georgia, we should watch out for Jimmy Carter around the time of the Super Bowl, because the Super Bowl's in Georgia. When you write out 94, it has that gematria of 147, like how it's 147 days from the first week one of the NFL to Super Bowl Sunday, and the 57 big championship number. Let's just, for kicks, let's see how many days it is from Jimmy Carter's birthday to the Super Bowl. Let's see. Super Bowl's February 3rd, 2019. 18 weeks after his birthday. I'm just thinking about it. I don't know. I have a feeling, though, that they probably will both go at age 94. Remember, the reason for people out there going, why does 94 matter? It's this right here. 94 sums to 147, like U.S. president. Like president of the United States. Both 147, 147 windows on the White House. All these presidents get it by the code, so. Heinz ketchup. Oh, that's interesting. That is very interesting. I think Bush Sr. might go November 8th. That's what I'm saying. I think we might read about his passing. Somebody says, were you aware that the Twin Towers match the exact proportions of the pillars of Boaz and Joaquin? I've never heard that before. How do we verify that that's true? Who knows the exact proportions? So I'm interested in that. I want to know how we know that that's accurate. So USC and LSU got the W's, but not Washington and Miami. Interesting. Got to look at the scores on those games. Somebody says they're blowing on the high CBD. They must be in some pain. Ravillo's saying, who makes calls on what day people die? Well, the point is that people are murdered by the code. I mean, I did this for Prince. Prince died. Prince had the song "I Would Die for You," and he wrote it with the number four and the letter U. Used the 21st letter. He died 421, 33 years after recording the song. So who does it are the people who realize that people are being murdered and 86th from this world by a code. That's who does it. Where do you think you are right now? You know, we do things that nobody's ever done before in here, and we do it to wake people up. So you must have entered a room and not know where you are. Cold as ice. Send me this link for the proportions on the pillars to my email, please. Gematria effect news at gmail.com. I'd like to check that out. It makes total sense to me, though. I mean, that's the way I've always seen it. The two pillars, the two towers, the two temples. Pillars are from the Solomon's temple. So it all makes perfect sense. Yeah, I know about Jonathan Kahn and the Shemitah years. I'm aware. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Prince didn't die either and he did retire. Death sells in the recording industry, all the reason in the world to fake it. Yeah, it would be nice if Bush apologized for being in the know about 9/11 before he passed, but I wouldn't count on it. For people asking for me to make them a moderator, is Jonathan not a moderator? How is Jonathan not a moderator? I can only I'll make you guys moderators if you earn your stripes around here. Like the only people who I've made as moderators are people who I've recognized being around this work for quite a while. And like people like Richard Quinn who are working hard to spread the word. So my email is look at my channel name, Gematria Effect News. It's that at gmail.com. Gematria Effect News at gmail.com. Send it to that email. Haha, some bearded person's on the perfect dosage. That's funny. How can we make Gematria go viral? Well, you're asking the wrong person because I've been trying to do it for going on 5 years and it hasn't happened yet. So we probably need a really hot chick with big boobs and who has a cute voice. Then we'll probably get to that million subscriber mark or something like that. So I don't know. Yeah, somebody said Mac Miller's still alive. I told you guys I had that guy call me that I hadn't talked to for a couple years, and I knew that he was in the music recording industry, and he told me that just the character Mac Miller's dead, and he also told me a bunch of other stuff that I felt like he was trying to put me off course. Rolling Stone 503. I have a feeling this person's from Portland, Oregon. That's my hometown. There, the 503. Yeah, the entire Masonic world works by this code. It's not arbitrary that English is the language of the New World Order. I'm curious about who makes the calls too. I imagine there's somebody up at the tippy top of this little Masonic pyramid, but I have a feeling those names, we don't know those names. You got all these people in the truth community who think George Soros is the top of the pyramid. I'm pretty sure he's not. Pretty sure we don't know the names of the people who really run it. This is for you magic mushroom people. This is the time of the year when magic mushrooms start to grow. It's this part of fall when you wake up and the ground is frosty in the morning and then it thaws out as it warms up. Those are the kind of conditions they grow in. So here in the Pacific Northwest, we're in one of the better mushroom regions of the world. A lot of people come here to pick all sorts of mushrooms, not just hallucinogenic ones. Yeah, 47 meters down. That when that movie came out, I had to laugh. That was a riot. Let's see. I think Elizabeth Warren's one of these women that we need to keep an eye on. She is she's a potential next candidate. I agree with you. She was the biggest thorn in Trump's side when he was running for his presidency. I wouldn't even be surprised if she's the Democratic contender here in the upcoming election. Gematria Forum says he's got new artwork for the store. Okay, I'll check it out. We got multiple people from Portland. Portland, the home of the fluoride free water. Let's see. Did you know that 503 is the 96th prime number? I think the seal of Portland was made on March 22nd too. I was looking these things up. I thought, oh my goodness, quite a few people from Portland here. Happy Valley. It's Saturday night where you are. Wait a minute, I'm thinking about that. I'm like, is some part of the world in Saturday night right now? Man, you're way. Or wait, oh, never mind. I'm tripping. I forgot what day of the week it is. I guess it's Saturday night here too. Man. Zach, do you think Russian Jews are the same Jews described in the Bible as false Jews? It does seem that they came from that part of the world, Eastern Bloc. So they might very well be. City of London Bank of England just passed their 323 years of operation. 323 has Gematria of enslaved. I believe that the name Lucifer in Jewish Gematria is 323. It is. That's interesting. Lucifer, the light bringer. Masonry, the pursuit of light. Let's see. Yeah, Flint, Michigan. They're not the home of the clean water. That's for sure. Some bearded person says, "Do you think any fresh neighborhood mushrooms are deadly?" Well, I got those same tales when I was a child too. Like lot of mushrooms can kill you, and I don't know the answer to that. I mean, there are things that are poisonous to us, but is the fear overstated? Very possibly. So, all right, guys, we've been chatting for quite a while. I do want to just chill out for a little bit because I have been looking at the computer all day long, and I didn't think so many of you would be online actually, so I just wanted to do this video because my buddy asked if I could look into this death, and I thought that was an encouraging sign because he's not he's mostly just into the sports stuff, so thought, all right, maybe he's getting more into it. Let me put out this video for him. How old am I? I'm 35. That's how old I am. I was born in 83. Well, I used to live closer to you. I was in Seattle for a long time. I recently just moved to a further part of the state, but I've spent some time in Olympia. Olympia's got the really slow roads. I can't stand driving Olympia. All the speed limits like 25 everywhere. It's like, come on, can I drive faster than 25? All right, you guys, you have a good evening. Appreciate you supporting, and I'm sure I'll be back tomorrow at some point. Till next time, truth seekers.